Okay, so you know how I don't really try and watch a lot of TikTok and stuff like that firsthand? I like reaction videos from both sides of the political spectrum or both sides of opinions. I don't really want to catch the on the screen aids or whatever it is that comes through. So I usually watch it through other people, and there's been a spate of them lately, and a lot of them are people that are standing up there and giving us their opinion. And there's just a little something I noticed, which I know you guys have all noticed too, but just wanted to talk about it. In addition to the whole septum piercing and the crazy faded coloured hair that looks like when I was 8 years old and I went to my friend's house, there was 5 kids in her family, and she had toys all over the freaking roof, like headless Barbies and, or legless Barbies or whatever. And they were little ponies that were all up there faded and half broken and everything. That's what these people look like to me. And you think you have the right to tell me your opinion? You're clearly mentally deficient. Or are you? We have to be respectful. I've been that person too, not as in, this is who I am, love who I am, listen to me, and whatever. But as a young tween and a teen growing up, you go through phases and you do that kind of stuff. I still am, I would say, gothically inclined. I do enjoy black. I do enjoy quirky kind of clothing. And it used to be all I wore. Now it tends to be a lot more summer dresses. I live in summer dresses. But I can still get down and be edgy too. It's part of being a creative, I think. You just got to put that spin on everything. But from what I'm seeing now, it seems to be that these people are flying it like a flag, maybe they are. Ooh, maybe it is their version of like a pride flag or something, I'm not sure. But it just seems that all these people are dyeing their hair all crazy colours. They all have septum piercings. They're all overweight and drawing on themselves all these political messages that they don't actually know how they came to that opinion, because they've borrowed opinions, never had an independent thought. But here they are in front of microphones, in front of cameras, putting their stuff all over a Chinese spy app and basically giving the rest of the world an impression of where they're from, impression of the USA, impression of their gender, their sex, their age, whatever. You're not doing yourself any favors. And I get it. That's part of it. When I first got one of my facial piercings, my mum was like, oh no, why? And I was kind of like, well, fuck everyone. Yeah, good. I'm glad you find me repulsive. I'm not living my life for you. Fact of the matter is, this is a society, and in order to live it, we all have to get along. We all have to compromise. We all have to have standards. Remember back whenever I was working for 3 different companies. I had 3 jobs at one stage, and it was fantastic. I remember that one of them I thought was quite important, and I remember that if I had to speak on their behalf or anything like that, that having one side of my hair bright red and one side black was probably not going to look really professional, and I wanted what I was saying to be taken more seriously, not some angsty teenager, because that's what it used to mean. Life is give and take. I don't expect you to listen to my opinion if I look like a crazy person, or if I've not given the respect of behaving a certain way in a certain circumstance to come across like an equal. Coloured hair and stuff, that used to mean you were alternative or goth, and or you were teen or coming out of teens, or you were going into teens and you were angsty and you hated the world and you were like, yeah, this is what I look like. Society mostly forces you out of it, because it's not acceptable in some circumstances, and plus it's very hard to maintain and everything, and you prioritize things differently as you mature. Therein lies the problem, and it's come from another debate on this subject, is that people now are trying to have an extended childhood. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, the great generation and the boomer generation, what they've created for people under that, so mine and now the Zoomers, life is hard. Life is hard, and I don't blame people for wanting to run back to a time where they felt safer. So you just want to buy your little figurines and shit and spend all your work money on that stuff and have the opinions of a petulant child. I get it, because one could say this is what we were brought into and this is how the world was, and that's made us want to regress back to a time where we felt we were okay and handled our shit and we just want to play all day. Some of us will never get the opportunity to own a house or property or things of that nature. So screw it. Let's just have fun. Let's just do our thing. Let's not actually be an adult. So one could say, yeah, it's not my fault. Oh, but it is, because you have an opportunity to change. and to become someone that governs the way the world is going to work in the next X amount of years. And it's not going to work when all you care about is being outraged at things that you can't change or things that don't actually exist. Saying things like, women are feminists, oh, I wish I had all the rights of a gun. Has got to honestly be one of the stupidest statements I've ever heard, and one of the stupidest memes and signs and things that I've ever seen. But ADHD or something permitting, I'm just going to get back to what I was saying. So if you're just kind of waking up to the whole thing of, isn't that funny? Like, scratch your head, like, isn't that funny? These people that have the worst opinions on the face of the earth kind of all look the same, and they're proud of it, and it's kind of like their flag. Well, let me tell you what I've noticed. And I can tell you this because once I was on one of my friend's message threads, and I can't remember what it was about, but he was kind of having a bit of a back and forth with this girl, and she was commenting on something, and I came in brash, bulldozing, as sometimes I like to do, and I said something, and the last part of my rebut kind of comment was something about, yeah, go home to your many cats and your blue hair or something like that. And I got this text from my friend, and it was about like an hour and a half later, and he was like, you can't say that. You can't say that. She just messaged me and she's all angry and stuff. And I'm like, huh? It's like, yeah, she just messaged me because she's got blue hair. Have I ever told you that? I'm like, no, you didn't need to. Because they're all the fucking same. So again, if you just came on here and you're just waking up to these people have a flag, they have a uniform, and this is it. Blue hair, about 100 pounds overweight, if not more. Prison tattoos that are in bits and pieces everywhere that are stupid and ugly, look like they drew on themselves in the 7th grade. Usually no father figure, or a very weak one, or one that was predominantly absent, or they were raised by a mother that was the same as them. They're walking towards you like boom, boom, boom. Kind of Jurassic Park, ripples in the water shit, and they're coming towards you with a septum piercing. Just know that their opinion is going to be one of the worst that you've ever heard. And they're going to be very ignorant, and they're going to be very emotional, as in, listen to what I say or I'll scream in your face and threaten you. And they do this because they've never actually been punched in the face, I don't think, or they've never had adversity, so they've never, I don't know, done martial arts training or come out and spoken to somebody where that person has lost their shit and punched them or hit them or pushed them or something. They speak with no consequence, and words should never garner a physical reaction. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that some of the things they say and get away with are just permitted because they're clearly unhinged. And it goes back to their uniform. So blue hair, 1 million pounds overweight, worst opinion ever, ugly septum piercing hog thing between their nose, and the opinion of, well, I want to be ugly, so screw what you think. Okay. I'll tell you they're most likely atheist. I'll tell you they're most likely voting green leftism. They're anti-gun, but they don't exactly know why, because they've never been in an adverse situation where maybe it would have been fruitful to have one on hand. They've got opinions about defending certain colours of skin, certain pigment in skin, and by the way, in their terms, I am a POC, and I'm saying this to you, they defend my people without me wanting or needing them to, just to make themselves feel better about their shitty existence. Perpetual children, so they have 1 million kitty cats, and they think they're cat selves or whatever, and they have 1 million figurines and toys, and they care about the new Marvel movie coming out rather than the fact that they have rent to pay. These are the kinds of people, and they usually look like this. And no, it's not all of them. As I've said, I kind of looked a bit like that probably to some people. I would never have dyed my hair green or blue, because that is the flag for crazy. But I was once alternative, so I know there are some people out there that just enjoy that aesthetic, and I get that. But generally speaking, when I see a person with a septum piercing, overweight, blue hair walking towards me, the opinion is going to be aggravating and very, very baffling as to how someone that's a human being that's lived on this earth for more than 3 years can have that stance on a certain topic. I guess this is reminding those of us that know that when you see this kind of person, you know they've got 1 million TikTok apps and Snapchat and whatever the latest craze is to spout their worthless opinion. And it takes all folks, different stories for different folks, as they say. It makes the world go round. Just, I guess, know your intellectual enemy. when you see them, because stupidity and evil floats to the surface in people, and you get to see that. Just some food for thought on the subject, because these people splash around who they think they are at this time, in this time of their life, and we just all have to sit there and listen to it. At least we can all have a laugh together. Right? Companies that make blue hair dye must be living like fat rats right now. Don't want to be one of those people that's asking you to sub and like, but if you feel like commenting or liking, that would help me out. It'll give me the power to do more of these episodes.